Hey everybody, thanks for coming to the call today. Let's talk about how to make passive income, true passive income. And what we're going to talk about is how to make passive income and how to circumvent this process of going from employee to, self-employed to business owner to investor. Um, but I just want to talk briefly about it so we're all talking about the same page. Okay. So employees, they pay the most taxes. They make the least amount of income, although there are many that make really good income, but they pay the most taxes by the way they run their finances. Also, they buy the most doodads. And you said, tell me, what the heck is a doodad? A doodad is what the bank calls an asset. And the bank calls it an asset because the bank is making money every month. You give them a little bit of money. You give them a little bit of money, give them a little money. That is an asset. And so what you want to do is you need to have assets working for you that give you a little bit of money all the time. Okay. And so this is what I'm going to be talking about. However, many people go through the process of becoming employed and self-employed. That process is kind of take it on yourself or become a contractor and you do it yourself. They pay less taxes because of how they do their taxes and they do their write-offs. And the next option is to become a business owner. And these people own a business system. And so it's a concept of having many, many people work for them, 1% of efforts of everybody, as opposed to 100% efforts of yourself. And that brings me to the investors section, which is where you want to be. And so to circumvent this process, we're going to go directly to investors. Okay. But the thing about being financial independence is where is it in your life that you are? Okay. So to get out of the rat race, you need to have your passive income exceeding your expenses. Now, everybody has expenses throughout their entire life. That's just the way it is. And you're at various stages in life on this road. But the truth is that you need to have your passive income. Once your passive income is greater than your expenses, then you can breathe a lot easier and things are a lot easier. And so this is what I'm talking about is having assets working for you. This is what I mean by passive income is by having your assets work for you and they make you money. And this then pays your bills. And you can go do something else that's something more interesting or something, funner or whatever you want to do. Okay. Now, there's the second problem that's going on in the world. And I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but I have. That your income, as you are have purchasing power, that you got to have a second source of income, a third source of income, a fourth source of income. It's like, holy crap, I can only have 24 hours in the day. How many hours in the day can I work? This is my point, is you can only work a certain number of hours in the day. You've got to have things working for you so that you can have passive income. And this is the reason why, is because one of the reasons why is because the power of the dollar is going down. Now, the US dollar is a strong economy. This same graph you see in Argentina, but it only took 20 years for the graph to do the same thing. The same graph you see you saw in Germany in the 20s, you saw in Venezuela going on right now. Okay, so this same graph of having the ability to purchase stuff is going down is because the dollar is going down and you are losing the ability to purchase stuff. You cannot overwork the interest rate. Like you cannot work enough. You're going to get to the point where you can't work enough hours to keep up. And this is why people get a second job, get a third job. But even then, this graph is going to continue on this process. You're going to have troubles if you don't do something yourself, which is having assets working for you. Okay. And having your assets working for you so that they're making you money and that you've got a passive source of income coming in. I want to compare the dollar as well to gold. Okay. So gold, on the other hand, gold, for example, my friend buys a Corvette for 34 ounces of gold back in 1974. In 2024, buys the same Corvette, same quality of workmanship, maybe a little bit better workmanship. It probably will break down just as quickly with the same amount of gold. And why is that? Is because the gold is a stable source of income where to store wealth. Okay. A bad place to store wealth is in currency for the fiat currency, like Canadian dollar, US dollar, doesn't matter. Again, because back in 1974, he only paid $6,000 for this high-end vehicle. Now he paid $69,000 for this high-end vehicle. very poor place to store wealth, both in the vehicle and in the currency. Okay. Let's say, with silver, it's about the same. So 12,000 ounces of gold, silver, 24,000, 20,000 ounces, 2,000 ounces of silver. Okay. So it's about the same. Okay. Just to give it a comparison, let's pretend that Bitcoin existed in 1974. So you would have used 6 million Bitcoins to buy this Corvette. Today, you would use 1.6 Bitcoins. This is a good storage of wealth. Okay. And I'll explain why. Okay. Here's some of the reasons why Bitcoin is a good storage of wealth. First of all, let's look at this example of companies that are buying Bitcoin. Why is it that they're buying Bitcoin? Okay. Countries are buying or acquiring, stealing Bitcoin. Why is it that they're doing that? Okay. Is because Bitcoin is the best storage of wealth. Look at all these countries that are acquiring Bitcoin. Like there's no tomorrow. Okay. Well, there is no tomorrow. It's because they're acquiring Bitcoin. And why is that? It's because Bitcoin is the best storage of wealth. It has performed the best out of any other asset in any asset class for the past 8 of the past 11 years. Okay, so since 2013, it's been the best asset in the world to own and has been the top asset in every asset class. Now, when you talk about asset class, so gold is an asset class. Real estate is also an asset class. Like you can buy and hold real estate, make lots of money off of that. But the best asset in the world is Bitcoin. Okay. And so Bitcoin is very significant. We're talking about storage of wealth, not over the next 5 years, not over the next 10 years. We're talking about storage of wealth over the next 50 years, 100 years, 20 years. That way, our grandkids have something to live off of. Because the dollar isn't going to be, there's going to be a problem if we don't take action and put our wealth into something that's immutable, something that is movable. We can move it from one place to another easily. Okay. Someone steals your land, you're screwed. Someone steals your resource of gold, you're screwed. Whereas Bitcoin is simply an intellectual property. Okay. People are saying that Bitcoin is going to go up to $500,000 in the next 2 years, next 3 years, $1.5 million in the next, in 2030. Right now, it's hitting almost $100,000 and it will continue to grow. Yes, it goes through phases of going up and down, and that's okay. This is part of the market. And people use that as a resource as it goes up or down, that they use it to buy and sell, and they make money on that pathway. And there are a lot of traders do that, but if you're not a trader, I don't recommend you do it. Yes, it takes learning. You can do it. Anybody can be taught to do anything. Like it's just, you don't come out of the womb being a neurosurgeon. You have to learn stuff. Okay. It's the same with trading, but we're not talking about trading today. But showing over the long term, this graph is very typical of Bitcoin. It has its up and downs, but over the long run, it's going up. Okay. So this makes it a great storage of wealth. Here's some other things that it makes it a reason why it's a good storage of wealth. Okay. Is because of the scarcity. What happens is every 4 years, the amount of Bitcoin that is produced, can be produced, is divided by half. Okay, that's called the halving. That's what it stands for. And so every year, the amount of Bitcoin that can be produced gets divided by half. The amount that can be gets divided by half. And so this process will be halved for the next 100 years. Okay, there's always half amount that you can do. But on the other hand, the amount of desirability of Bitcoin is also going up. And so because it's scarce, there's only certain amount of it, it becomes a resource that's valuable, okay, because it's scarce. Bitcoin is like digital gold, except it's better because I can transfer it from me to him without any sort of problem. I can transfer any amount I want, any quantity, anytime I want. I can receive it or send it, doesn't matter, okay? That's what makes Bitcoin the most powerful asset in the world. Okay. Another thing that it makes it important is it's a good store of wealth. And again, I alluded to this because the dollars are going down, bonds are going down. There's lots of things going down. They're okay storage for wealth, but Bitcoin is the best place to store wealth, especially for the long term, because it's going up to $100 million is one reason. Lots of reasons we've talked about so far. Okay, so why is Bitcoin so important? Is because you're mining Bitcoin, that are part of the process of how to acquire Bitcoin. There's three ways to acquire Bitcoin. One, you can mine it, which is the best way ever. Other, you can buy it, which I encourage you to do, just like you buy a little bit of gold every day, you buy a little bit of Bitcoin every day, because you're converting your worthless fiat currency into something that's worthwhile and long term. And the third way is you can be in business and you sell goods and services and you receive it that way. Okay. So let's talk about the best way to acquire Bitcoin, which is through mining. And I'll just explain a little bit how mine works and that process. Okay. So here in this picture here, we see mine machines. What these are is just a computer that connects to the internet and it detects movement on the network, which are the movement on the network is people making a transfer of Bitcoin from X location to Y location. Okay. What this is, it's a graphical interface showing the movement of Bitcoin right now as we speak live. And so every single one of these blocks flowing, they detect that movement and they have to basically on a log say, yes, this transaction from A to B occurred. And the way they do that is by doing a mathematical computation. They arrive at a conclusion of the mathematical computation, and the first computer that does that wins the reward. Now, part of the reward is, for example, in this block here, it was 16 million Bitcoins that was moved, $60 million worth of Bitcoins that was moved from place A to place B, and the fee rate was 4.56, and the fee was actually 1,000 sats. So those 1,000 sats, the computer that processed this, they receive that, okay? And it's put into the mining pool. As a result of every computer that puts this commission into the mining pool, that then every 10 minutes, this reveals the block that then makes a little bit of Bitcoin at that point in time and is deposited when it's deposited into the mining pool. And so this is how Bitcoin is being created, is through the mining process. It's a little bit is created as Bitcoin is being mined, as it's being moved from place A to place B. And that computer, which contributed to putting it there, made the income. Okay. So here's the same thing. Like there's 5 computers that say hit that wins. The second one does not. And so the first one receives the reward. The second one doesn't. Second, third, fourth, fifth does not, but they are confirmations that appear on the network. So we're going to talk about how to speed up the mining process with this booster right here. It's just a USB device and it connects to the network and from the network, it connects to the mining farms. We've got 3 mining farms that we've got a contract with. One is in Texas. The other one is in Ethiopia. And the third one is in Cambodia. Okay. So we have 3 mining farms that work with us. We work for them. We work with them. And we've got a contract with them. What happens is the Bitcoin that they produce, originally producing, we're not touching that. What we're doing is working on top of that. So any Bitcoin that we contribute to the processing that they do on top of, in addition to the amount of Bitcoin that they were producing before, we then share out that new portion. And the way it works is this booster, it has software on it. And it's plugged into the server room in Kuala Lumpur. Doesn't have to ship to there's no shipping out, doesn't have to plug in. This is great for me as an IT guy. I don't have to troubleshoot. I don't have to babysit. I don't have to work with the user. I don't have to do any of that. Simply, if you want one, you can buy one and you receive an invoice for it. And what it does is it detects that movement on the network and orders the jobs in or ease of order. So it gives the easiest jobs to do first, and then the next hardest jobs, and the next hardest jobs. And those jobs that don't need to be performed, those ones that were already processed, it doesn't even give those jobs to the miner to do. Okay, so this makes it so that the miner is now more efficient in what they're doing. Okay, so as a result of before, they would simply work full speed ahead, 100%, and it'd be high electricity costs. Now, with us involved, it brings that down because now the machine is only using its CPU power when it's processing a job, and it doesn't have to work full speed all the time. Okay, and so the booster sends the job to the mining machine to process. And what happens is we then share out these profits. The way it's shared is 60% goes back to the miners, 35% goes to the marketing plan, and 5% goes back to the company. We need to keep the lights on. We need to pay for our great accounting team. We need to pay for our great IT team. and we need to keep the lights on because it's a real business and it's a real, office. Again, it's in Kuala Lumpur. And so that's how it's shared out, is all the Bitcoins that are produced as a result of these contracts that we have with the mining companies. 60% goes back to the miners, 30%, 35% goes to the marketing plan, and 5% goes to the parent company. Now, just as an example, is over the past few months, when we first started, we didn't make very much, and that's okay. As we've been going along, we make more. So, by April 3rd, we made 10 Bitcoins by that point in time. By May 22nd, we made 50 Bitcoins by that point in time. By June 26th, we had made 100 Bitcoins by that point in time. So just to keep things in perspective, 100 Bitcoins we had produced. So of that shirt, so 60 of those Bitcoins went back to the miners, 35 went to the marketing plan, and 5 went to the company, to the parent company. Okay. So let's compare, talking about assets again, okay, because this Bit Booster is an asset. It truly is. Let's compare having an asset that makes you money compared to buying a regular business. Okay. So you could buy a business, for example, you could buy a candy store in the mall and have some candy that you have there, and that's super great. So you have to buy the business. You have monthly costs. Let's say you have to keep the lights on, you have to buy more product, you have to pay your employees, whatever it is. Okay. Regular mortar business. I've been in the business too, so have you. And you know that this is real. Okay. So your monthly estimation, you make $1,000 a month. Let's just call it for fun. Okay. And your yearly estimation is $12,000. So as an example, if you take that same $50,000 and you bought 50 boosters with it, here's the cool thing. You bought the 50 boosters and you didn't have to pay for them again. You bought it one time. There's no monthly fees. There's no setup fees. There's none of that crap. You buy a booster, or 50 in this example, and it pays for itself in about 6 months. And you can get your invoices and write it off. Go talk to your tax consultant, confer with them, and go write it off. Okay. But 50 boosters, $500,000 as an example, daily estimated about $200, way better. Monthly estimated about $6,000, way better. Yearly estimated about $72,000, way better. And you don't have these additional monthly costs. One-time fee, that's all it is you bought the machine. You now have a machine that's making you money, and it is an asset. And that's why that's what you want to do. Is like the banks, they've got assets working for them. You want to have assets working for you too. So let's compare buying some boosters compared to buying real estate. Now, real estate is a great place to have resources, to have land transfer, to have, it's a great place to store wealth. But compared to buying boosters, it doesn't cut it. And I'll show you why. So I buy one property, $100,000. For me to have passive income, I need to have 5 or 6 properties, because here's the reason why. One property, you got to fix it up. You got to do advertising. You don't know how long it's going to take before it sells, or you get a renter. So that's nice, because now you got to manage tenants and you got to deal with their stuff at 2 o'clock in the morning. And so let's just call it for fun. Monthly estimated resource that you earn is $500. Okay. This is why I'd need 5, is because at $500 a month, well, I need 5 of them to be able to have $2,000, $3,000 in my account. So that's why I'd have to have 5. Okay. Yearly estimated $6,000. Take that same resource and buy boosters instead. 500 boosters, same price, $100,000. Daily income, about $4,000, about $400, sorry. Monthly estimated, about $12,000. Yearly estimated, $144,000. From my perspective, I'm going, oh, wow, this is a no-brainer. This is where you want to be. This is the place to be, okay? So the cost of one booster is $1,000. And I mean, I don't know if you figured that out until now, but it is. One booster costs $1,000, and it generates between $3 to $10 a day. That's the way it is. Now, there are 3 factors on what causes the amount to fluctuate up and down, because it fluctuates because we're mining Bitcoin. So the price of Bitcoin can fluctuate. The number of jobs that need to be performed on X day can fluctuate, and the number of jobs that we pick up can fluctuate. So all of those three things are factors on why we make different amounts every day, because we do. But the point is if you take one Bitcoin, okay, and I'm going to use $70,000 as an example with one Bitcoin, even though Bitcoin is now $90,000 today. It was $50,000 a few weeks ago. Okay, so we'll use $70,000 for fun. These 70 boosters generate for you 1.823 Bitcoins a year. Next year, you would still have 70 boosters. Well, I wouldn't. I would have doubled my account because I'm compounding it. So I would have more boosters. But let's just pretend that you still only have 70 boosters, because you will. You'll have at least 70 boosters working for you. And you make another 1.823 Bitcoins that year. The next year after that, you still have another 70 boosters. And you make another 1.823 Bitcoins that year. The year after that, you still have 70 boosters. And you make another 1.823 Bitcoins. Do you see what I'm saying here? Is you have an asset that works for you, making you money. Okay? It's like taking a shovel into your backyard and you're digging gold. Every shovel poke you make into the ground, you pull out the gold. Every shovel poke. Okay? $3 to $10 a day for every single booster, one booster that you buy. Of course, you could buy a shared booster, and that would generate, one share is 1/10 of the price, and you could it'll generate 1/10 of the profits as well. So one shared booster is between 30 cents and 50 cents a day. Okay. Now think back in that second graph that I showed you, where your passive income needs to exceed your expenses. At what number? Where are your expenses? I don't know your expenses. I know my expenses. Okay. But where are your expenses? Where do you need to be so that you can breathe? So that you can go, oh, take the stress off. I don't need to go find a second job. I don't need to find a third job or a fifth job for that matter. What number works for you? So most people, about 50 boosters, that's about where they need to be, because it produces between 150, 250 bucks a day. That's about $6,000 a month. That is a nice income for any average person, especially here in Canada. Okay, $6,000 a month. That's really nice. But you have to figure out where you're at, because maybe you don't have the funds to buy 50 boosters. I didn't, but that's okay. So you need to figure out what your goal is, where you want to be, and then you need to figure out where you are at. So maybe you can only buy one booster. That's okay. Maybe you can only buy 10 boosters. That's okay. Maybe you're fully capable of buying 1,000 boosters. And I do know one lady walked into the office, bought 1,000 boosters. 2 weeks later, she walks back into the office and buys another 1,000 boosters. So I do know that people do that. I'm not one of those. I started at one share because that's what the resources I had at the time. Okay. But subsequent to that, every day, every time I can, I take monies that I earned, put the majority of it back onto my account. It's called compounding, and I buy another share. And I take a portion of it and I pull it out. And that, because then I'm paying myself along the way. So I take about 1/10 out. Okay. So I've grown my account from one shared to 5 boosters. Okay. My intent is to get up to here to 50 boosters. And then I'll change my strategy again. And might do 50-50 for a while until I double it. And then I'll probably change my strategy again once I'm, had 100 boosters, and I'll just put, maybe do 4 quarters. Pull out 1 quarter in Bitcoin, pull out 1 quarter in USDT for long-term savings, buy another booster, and spend the other quarter. Okay. But as my account grows, I'll change my strategy according to what my needs are. Okay. Because this is where I really want to be. Because $100, $300 a day, that's pretty good, pretty good income. But you have to start where you're at. Your finances. And here's the thing. Like, you got to start today, because remember that one of that graph I showed you where the dollar, the ability to buy stuff is going down. Every day that you don't take action, you're losing money. It doesn't feel like it, you're losing money, but you are. Because 10 years ago, how much was a loaf of bread? 40 years ago, how much was the loaf of bread? 100 years ago, how much was a loaf of bread? When you look back, you see the pattern over time. You see that the cost of living is going up, and we can't do anything about it except for get another job, get a third job. This is a way out. This is a way that you can stop losing money and start making money yourself. Okay. So here's the other really cool thing. Let's say you need to have a pay raise. Yeah, just buy some more boosters and you've now increased the amount that you're being paid a day. Full stop. That's what I do every day. I buy another shared booster every single day. That's why I've grown my account up to 5 boosters, and I'm continuing until I've got 50 boosters, like I said. So let's talk about the company itself. Okay. So the company, it's called BitHarvest, and they're based out of Kuala Lumpur. Okay. So this is really cool stuff I'm going to tell you about the company. Okay. So we have our MSB license. Okay. So this is really important. MSB stands for Money Services Business. And we received that Money Services Business from FinCEN. Here's the registration number, 31000270260594. Scan the QR code. Go look up the registration number, and you'll see our name attached to it. This is a government agency that you have to apply for MSB license. Now, here's the really cool thing. The reason why, okay, anybody that has had anything to do with banking knows you have to have an MSB license, okay? But as a result of having an MSB license, we are coming out with a Visa debit card in 2 weeks. And in a year from now, a little bit over a year, we're in the process right now to get listed on NASDAQ. That's really important. You can't have an MSB license if you're a scam. You can't have an MSB license if you're a Ponzi scheme, because you have to go through a financial audit to be able to prove this is where the money's coming from, this is where the money's going to, and we are buying boosters. We're not trading. We're not selling securities. We're not doing any of that crap. We're simply selling a booster that mines for you. This is really powerful stuff, okay? So the company itself is in Kuala Lumpur, and we have people go visiting the office all of the time. Like, this is really cool stuff. My friend was in Kuala Lumpur at his hotel, and he had some people come into the hotel, and they recognized him and said, "Hey, come with us. We have a meeting right now. We're going to go, meeting tomorrow is what he said. And we're going to go over here and have this meeting." And he goes, "Okay, yeah, sure, whatever." And they go, no, you need to come." So literally he's at his hotel having lunch, and he hears about this company. So he walks over to the BitHarvest, to the office, walks into the office, and he goes, "What do you guys do?" And they go, "This is what we do." And he was completely floored. He's like, "Oh my word. This is the best thing since sliced bread ever." Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a little video. So she's going to talk and explain about what the boosters are. So this is the server room in Kuala Lumpur. And we've actually got 3 warehouses like this. This is the server room where the main office is. And we have another 2 warehouses that house the boosters. Okay. And so what she's going to do is she's going to pull on the rack out here. There we go. Okay. So right here, she's going to pull this rack out, and you've got 20 boosters in a rack. Okay. And each one has its own IMEI number, which is kind of like your cell phone has a MAC address, so it can connect to the network. That's the same with the boosters, and each one connects to the network, connects to our app. And what I'm going to do is she's going to walk over to the far counter over here and pull out on the rack there my friend's this right here is on the screen. This is the transactions that are taking place, and each transaction is as they're going along. Okay, so right here, when he pulls up right here, there we go, is his number of boosters that on this account is 5.3 boosters, and all 5 of them are active at this moment. Okay, so what he's going to do is he's going to slide down and then show you on his list the IMEI that he's got that is active. And then she's going to pull out the booster, so she's counting off which one it is, so she knows, because it's ordered in there so that you know which one is which, because it's numerical value. Each one has its own IMEI. Okay, so she's going to pull that out, and then what we're going to do is look at his account. So it shows one now inactive right there. Okay, and what he's going to do is going to slide down, and you can see in the account itself where it shows that inactive, and this is the same IMEI number that he's got. Okay, so we go down to the bottom, and he just has one more page, and then number 14 here, as soon as it comes up, there it is. It shows that this one now is inactive. Okay. And so this is in real time. He pulled this USB device out, and that is the same number. I looked, I slowed down the video, and I paused it and looked. It's the same number, and that's his device. And so then a couple of seconds later, they put that back into the spot. And he goes back in, line number 14. It's now active again, and at the top, it then shows active as well, 5.3. Okay, so this is really cool because the product works. It interacts with the server. It interacts with the mining farm. Oh, this is an important point as well, is the way you get money out of BitHarvest is by clicking withdrawal, okay? Where the money comes from is really important. It actually comes from the mining farm.
In this video, we'll guide you through the process of conducting a transaction and verifying it on the blockchain. When the withdrawal have completed, you may verify the transaction on-chain. Surf oaklink.com. Paste your BTC wallet address. Click on the TX ID, which is transaction ID. Verify the date. It was received on March 14th, 2024 at 17 hours 27 minutes and 55 seconds. Note the block height as 834644. Then, scroll down to see that our address, BC1P30, received 0.001 BTC. Next, click on the sender address, 3MPFY, which is the BitHarvest cold wallet. Scroll down again to identify the source of the BTC input. Click on the sender address, BC1QKG, which is also a BitHarvest cold wallet, having sent 0.499 BTC. Continue scrolling down, then click on the sender address, BC1Q4LM, which sent 0.5 BTC. This is identified as the mining pool wallet. By scrolling further, you can verify the input is from BioBTC, the mining pool company. That's it. You have learned how to successfully verify that your BTC income is the output from BioBTC, the mining pool company.
The only way Bitcoin gets put into the mining farm is by the machines that are mining Bitcoin. They put it there. The way you get it out is clicking withdrawal, and your Bitcoin that you earned comes from the mining farm. Okay. All right. So a little bit about the CEO. His name is Logan Lee. He's got a financial background, and so he basically put up the money to create these boosters. There's only 500,000 boosters available, and so it's a finite product. Okay. Lenny Herling is a co-founder, and he was on the Ethereum network creating that. So he's got a background in crypto, understands the process, understands what's going on. And he had this software developing for 2 years before he got in touch with Logan Lee. Together, they then formed the company back in April, and we have, subsequent to that, had many interviews with Binance. The reason why is because Binance wants us wants us to trade our BTH coin with them. And we're going to be creating that coin, and it's going to be on its own network. And the network itself will host all sorts of stuff. Anyhow, we've received recognitions at the expo in May. This recognition, that's pretty cool. We also have insurance on the company. Okay, so just some little things. People are getting involved in this because it's a really powerful program. Because it's like you can get involved anywhere in the world. It's a piece of hardware it's not even being shipped out. It's housed in the server room, and so there's no cross-border. No one opening up the package because they want to pay, make you pay another fee. None of that. Anywhere in the world you can buy it, and as a result, you could potentially have a friend anywhere in the world that can buy it too. And so that's really cool. So just a couple other things. There's the MSB license again. Let me go down here. So the pathway that we're on. Okay. So we've had some interviews with Binance. We got insured with Alliance in April 2024. We won our award in May, and in June we basically celebrated our birthday celebration. Okay, we're going to do that again next year. Subsequent to that, we've won a couple of more, one more award. I can't remember what the name is, but that's okay. We've been in all sorts of expos all over the world. And we're still the really cool thing about Logan Lee, he's really a personable guy. Okay, so he's on the floor at the expo in Dubai, and people come up to him and start talking to him, kicking the tires, all this stuff. This is how we picked up our second contract, our second mining company, is because somebody on that floor goes, "Hey, I'm in." So get this, there are 3 companies that we work with that are mining companies, but you have to be government registered to be able to, because we're completely on board. We're completely upfront with, we work with the governments. Like I said, you have an MSB license. And so we want everything to be legit as well. And so that's why, yeah, there's lots of people that want to participate because they've got their own little hobby farms or whatever. But if it's not government licensed, yeah, it's not going to work for us. Okay. So that's why so far we've got others in the works that are coming up, but right now we've got 3 contracts signed. Okay. So we've got some stuff that's been going on all over the world, and this is the pathway that we're at. Okay. So phase 1, we're selling boosters. We've got only 500,000 of them that are for sale, and they're mining Bitcoin for us. In 2 weeks, we're coming out with the Visa card. It's a debit Visa card. There are people that have already received it. It's going to come live on and you can apply for it in your back office. We've got an app that's coming out, and along with some games and stuff that are coming out. We're going to be putting our coin BTH, creating a network with the coin, and then people will be able to function on that coin as well. Okay, so let's just kind of quickly review here. There's some other things. So everything I've talked about so far is 100% passive income. It's 100% passive. Okay, that's what I've been talking about so far. There is a process whereby if you have a friend that likes Bitcoin and wants to be part of the project as well, they buy some boosters and you earn some commission off of that. And that's great. It's marvelous to do that. Okay, so I already talked about that page. This is the app that's coming out. And I think that I am going to skip down to the bottom of the page. So I will stop my share at this point in time, and I will take questions.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I'm doing fine. Making Bitcoin.
And how do you like that?
Love it. Just waking up in the middle of the night, and I got to turn on my BitHarvest program to see how much I made.
I know that. That's super awesome. We at this here in this country, in this time zone, we receive our Bitcoin about 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's about what time? Because it's we're 14 hours ahead of Kuala Lumpur, and so when the server power cycles in the middle of the night, that's when everything gets cycled.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting.
He sleeps during the day.
Right?
He sleeps during the day then, right?
Yeah, that's right. He must do. Dale, do you have a question?
Yeah, so how many BitHarvest devices are sold currently?
I don't know. I think it's over 5,000. It may be getting closer to 7,000 at this point. Because I do know, like I said, that lady walked in and she bought 1,000 on the spot. 2 weeks later, she bought another 1,000. I'm like, oh boy. Well, I got to hurry up because I want all the ones I can make. So it's around that number. Okay.
Yeah. So that's only in 6 months or roughly.
Yeah.
So to get to 500,000 is probably going to accelerate once it catches on.
Yes.
So what happens once they sell out?
Okay. So we have a couple of things. I did forget to mention that. So with this booster, when all of them are sold out, this booster that we're buying will also will mine BTH, which is our in-house token. Okay. So I know I'm talking about, it's okay. BTH is a utility token, and the utility token will become a coin in the future, and it'll be owned on its own network in the future. So by the fact that this device is mining BTH, it's another source of income for you, is what that is. Okay, so that's effect number one, is they will start to mine BTH once they have finished selling those out. Also, there is a version 2 of the booster that's coming out, and I don't know, its specs are a little bit different, and I don't know much about it, but other than it is in the works, and they've got another. And so, is it possible that the second one will be more expensive, do something else? I don't know. Okay, but this one is for sale, and there's only 500,000 of them, and so there won't be any more of this one being sold at that point in time. Would you guys like to go over that chart? I think, Mervin, you made a chart where you're compounding your account. I thought that was really cool when you showed that to me the other day. Because that's basically what I'm doing, is I'm compounding my account every time I can. Because I want to have, $200, $300 a day coming in.
Getting that going, I was just going to say that down here in Mexico, it's great to be making Bitcoin every day, and then every few days I just go onto my computer and then buy another share or two, and so it just continues to be very passive, and I don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
And so that's been really exciting. The other thing I have here is the debit card for crypto, and so it's always interesting to see if it really works for yourself when you're in Mexico and around the world. And so I tested it a number of places around Edmonton, and now in Mexico I've tested it at different places, and it all works. So I know that Bitcoin, you can't really put your hands on it like a dollar bill, but it's certainly real, and it's proving itself so that's exciting.
Yeah, that's what
Nice.
Hey, while you're down there in Mexico, if you happen to talk to any person down there that likes Bitcoin, and I know you don't speak Spanish that well, I do speak Spanish, and so you can send them my way, and I'll make sure they get on your team.
Yeah, very good. Good. We'll turn it over to Mervin, and we'll see how this thing compounds.
Very good.
I don't mind sharing it. So this little spreadsheet that I created was a thought that was put together after Sigmar kind of was telling us about calculations he did for how much he had earned in 1 month. And so I thought, well, why can't I do that on a spreadsheet? I love spreadsheets. If we look at the different columns to start with, so this here is just the amount that you're invested. This is the next booster shares. The next is the average return. If you had 0.1 of a share, you would make 40 cents a day. This is per day, okay? This column here will, E and F, will skip over those for the time being here. Move to this one. So this 250 is the number of days that would be required before you would earn $100, because you're only making 40 cents a day times 250 days.
Yeah.
That should equal 100. Okay. So if you started that on today, well, let's just put in a date here that we started that on December 1st, 2024. Okay, over here. So that that day is when you bought 0.1 of a share. You add 250 days to that. That'll take you to August 8th, 2025. Okay.
Okay.
So at that time, you can buy another share, and then you will be moving to 0.2 of a share. And it will take you only 125 days to earn $100 now. And these columns here is just the amount that you would make in a month at the number of shares that you, or boosters that you own. And of course, the next column is the how much that accumulates for a full year. If you stayed at 0.1 share without buying any more, just stayed at 0.1. If you never bought any more, I guess that's what you would end up with, is $146. But let's say that, let's move it ahead. Let's say you bought a full booster to start with. Then now you're making $4 a day on the average. And that takes only 25 days to earn $100. So if you bought that, well, I've got the date of November 12th punched in there already. So November 12th plus 25 days gives you December 7th. Okay. And in a month, that would be, you would be making $120 in a year, that much. Okay. So anyway, let's say you just keep reinvesting that $100 every time. And if you move ahead, let's do, I'm going to change that date there to make it December 1st, because it's a nice round number here to work with. And let's say, okay, so we just don't invest anymore. That's $1,000 we've invested, but we're going to reinvest every $100 that we got to buy another share. So let's move ahead 1 year. So we go from December 1st of 2024 to look for December 1st or close to December 1st on 2025. Okay, at that time, you're making, you've got 4.1 shares, boosters, I should say, and you're making $16.40 every day, $492 a month, $5,986 in a year. Let's move ahead another year.
Maybe just to interrupt, so in that 1 year, you went from $1,000 to 4,100. So that's a 4.1 times increase.
Yeah. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead to find in 2 years' time. Okay, December 1st, 2026. Now you're earning $70.40 every day.
Because you got 17.6 boosters.
And you got 17.6 boosters, right? And you're now earning in a month a little over $2,000, in a year, $25,500. Okay. You want to try one more year? You want to try one more year?
Yeah, let's keep going. Because instead of referring to years, why don't we just simply refer to number of boosters? If you have X boosters and you compound it, this is how much you're making and how long it would take to compound, how long it would take to double. So we've now had 20 boosters. So let's go to 50 boosters. So go back up until you get to 50 boosters, because we already used this as an example. You're at 75. Oh, you 75. That's fine.
Okay. So 75 boosters here.
Yeah.
That occurs on November 28th of 2027. So that's 3 years from now. That's $9,000 a month. You're making $300 a day, and 109,000 in a year.
Or how about, Merv, you put in today's date there next to the 75,000, and we'll see how long it takes to get to 150.
Actually, go back to 20 boosters and put today's date on there, because that's a common number that people, want. They buy 10 boosters or buy 20 boosters. Let's go back to 20 boosters and put today's date on there.
All right.
Right here. Just past it.
Yeah. Okay. 20 boosters, 20, right there.
Right there. Put today's date on 20 boosters.
Today's date. There's a
25th.
Yeah, today's 25th of November. Perfect.
Okay. So what that does is it now resets the calendar here for when another booster is going to be available, or $100 is going to be available, because you're making $80 a day. Okay. Everybody see that?
Yep.
You're making $2,400 at in a month. Okay. All right. Where do you want to go to now?
So now let's see what's the year. How long will it take to double? So how long will it take to go from 20 boosters to 40 boosters?
Okay, to 40 boosters.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see here.
There we go.
40. Okay, so that is on May 18th of 2025.
So 5 months.
Little over 5 months, yeah.
Yeah. To double
And
your account.
$160 a day,
a day. That's not too bad, isn't it?
58,000 a year. So, at some point you say, well, okay, that's pretty good. I want to start drawing out some money. So let's say when it is making at least $100 a day, let's say that, well, that's, buying one share every day is pretty good. Let's keep, it somewhere around there. So let's start taking some income out. So let's say I take 50%. So what that did now is you're still making that $100 a day, but you're taking 50 of it out. And so instead of the one day to accumulate $100, you're going to have to wait 2 days because you need to earn $200 because you're taking 100 of it out. Okay, so that's what these two columns is doing for you is in the green area you identify what percentage of the earnings you want to take out. The column F tells you what that dollar value will be per day. And then if you go over to columns L and M, they are the dollars that you're actually removing from the program, taking out to go to Mexico and find out where Clayton is. Yeah, so you can change, and at any point now you're taking out 50% of your income, and if you went from what were we were at how many shares? We were at 25 boosters. If we waited, how long would it take us to get to 50 boosters now? Let's see. If we go to 50, right there. So that would take you until January 2nd on 2026, a little over a year. But in that year's time or whatever, you've doubled your daily income, $200 earnings, but you're taking 100 of it out. So you're still buying a share every day now again, instead of every 2 days, because back at 25 boosters, you're earning $3,000 a month or 36,500 in a year. That's just the money that you're taking out. You've still got all this money that you earned, like you actually earned 73,000, but you're taking half of it out. So you can play around with the program to kind of see what different scenarios would bring. Somebody was asking, okay, well, how many boosters are already sold? Maybe you want to make sure that you have a certain number of boosters by such and such a date. Well, you could go back and you could say, I want to make sure that I have at least 50 boosters by before they sell out, and I don't know when they're going to sell out. So you have to buy your 50 boosters. That's $50,000. But those boosters you would put that date in here right now. Let's say is November 25th. Okay, so now we're making $200 a day. Oh, I've got to take this 50% out here at the top here. Just hang on. Go back down to 50 boosters. Okay. And you see on the date here is you had you're making $200. So every half a day, you could buy 2 boosters every day, unless you started taking some income out. But if you wanted, even if all the boosters are sold out, those boosters, those 50 are still going to keep earning you income. You wouldn't be able to buy any more
Yeah.
because at that point, there was no more boosters available, let's say.
Yeah.
So you could say, well, now I'm going to take 100% out. Okay. Well, what I've done then is, okay, so all the income that is created every day or at the end of the month, you could take out a check of $6,000 every day, every month. Okay.
That's not a shabby income, is it?
For the rest of as long as bit boosters are around, I guess, or Bitcoin. So I mean, your your income wouldn't increase because there is no more boosters to buy. But if you wanted to make sure that you had a certain amount of income guaranteed at, before your estimate of when they'd run out, that might be something that you would want to do.
Curiosity. Let's pull up 100 boosters. How many? Because I've got team members that have 100 boosters. So how much are they making a day?
Okay, 100 boosters, $400 a day.
That's not too bad. And that lady that bought 1,000 boosters, how much is she making a day on the 1,000 boosters?
Oh, I don't know if my spreadsheet goes that far.
Just multiply by 10.
Yeah, exactly. Just multiply this.
Would
But
be
it's like,
4,000.
Yeah.
that's a crazy number,
How far did I put my spreadsheet? I don't know. Oh, yeah. I didn't go past 335 boosters.
Well, let's have a look.
At 40 cents a day per share, that's 4,000, right?
Yeah.
4,000 per day.
Yeah, you can just multiply. Yeah.
Cool.
So
I have a question.
Yes,
Yep.
go ahead, yeah.
So your calculation is based on a 0.4% per day rate of return, and I'm assuming Bitcoin at $60,000 or $70,000.
Yep.
What happens if Bitcoin goes to $1 million? The 0.0001 Bitcoins that we are paid per unit, will it go up in time?
So what happens is Bitcoin going up, it means that we're getting paid more. Now, so in this example, he's using, however much is a day. In the back office, it shows you that you can earn $3 to $10 a day. Okay. So that's the range that you should go with, is $3 to $10 a day. Now, when Bitcoin goes up, we get paid a little bit more because the price of Bitcoin has gone up, because we're still mining the same amount of Bitcoin. So if we go to my back office as an example, and I'll show you what goes on. Just give me a second here while I log in.
You talked about the hedge against inflation. So
Yeah.
if Bitcoin goes up by tenfold in 5 years or whatever, like they're forecasting, this is a really good hedge on inflation.
It sure is. It really is a good hedge on inflation. Like it's like Bitcoin is the best hedge there ever is on inflation. And because we're getting paid in Bitcoin, it's like you're getting more as a result. So just to show you my back office, to show you what's going on. Okay. So here on day one, so I bought a booster on May 1st. Okay. Sorry, I bought a share booster. And so on May 1st, I bought the share booster And it went live on my account on May 2nd. And then on May 3rd is the day I received my first mining rewards. Okay. So I'm using this as an example so you can kind of see, because the price of Bitcoin on that day was $40,000. Okay. So I'm using this as an example because the price of Bitcoin looking backwards, it was around $50,000 in May. Okay. And now it's almost $100,000. So this number here, this bottom number, 0.000588129 is how much Bitcoin I received on that day. Okay. Now this number here, 0.55, I didn't receive 55 cents worth of Bitcoin on that day. I only received 30 cents worth of Bitcoin on that day. But because the price of Bitcoin is going up, the value of it is going up, but this is the amount I received on that day. So 0.005881297. Okay. That's how much I received. And it fluctuates. So 706, 883, 85, okay. So this 797, it changes, it fluctuates. Okay. And so 55 cents, 56 cents, 48 cents, 72 cents. That's what it's displaying today on today's prices, the cents. But again, like I said, in May, it was 30 cents. Okay. So let's compare that to today, just for fun. Okay. So on today, only looking at the mining rewards, because that's my machines. My machine produced for me today. It produced 0.0003525 Bitcoins, which, oops, that's ranking. 0.0177551. So I'm receiving more Bitcoins than I was because I've got more machines. And it's about $16 a day today. Okay. But again, this amount of Bitcoin is what I earned on this day, and it never changes. This value never changes. 0.0174091. It never changes. But the amount I receive, it changes because the price of Bitcoin. So to your question, the higher price of Bitcoin can affect the price, and we often get paid more. The number of jobs that need to get done affects how much we are paid, and the number of jobs that we pick up affects how much we get paid. And so it goes up and down as we go. Okay. And so the price of Bitcoin. So if I were let's look at it this way. If I were to have pocketed all of this Bitcoin that I made, I would have made $1,653 worth of Bitcoin, because this number here is the amount of Bitcoin that my machines have mined for me to date. Okay. So if I were pocketing this, at some point in time, it'll say 1 Bitcoin, 2 Bitcoins, 3 Bitcoins. It'll say that because it's going to continue to produce. And so you go, oh, well, today that 1 Bitcoin is worth $100,000. The thing that's really cool about the Bitcoin being $100,000 is if I take a few pennies off and I have to spend them for whatever reason, now I have, a little bit less, a few pennies less. But tomorrow, when it goes down to $150,000, I still have more money because the Bitcoin went up, even though I took a little bit off to spend it. And so as a resource to hedge income, it's a very, very, very powerful tool. It truly is. That it's making you Bitcoin. All right. Any other questions?
I had one of my people, excuse me, she forgot her password and she was trying to log on. She logged on several times and finally they kicked her out. Okay. So then she had to reset her password.
Yep.
Which that worked. But then when she went to buy another share,
Okay. I'll explain what has to happen.
he got to the second password that had to be entered again. She entered the one that the newly one she created, and it said, sorry, no, not the right one. Okay, we had to learn that this program's got 2 passwords.
Yes, I tell you that every time.
Yeah.
So it has 2 passwords, and the one is the security password, and the one is the login password. If you forget the login password, you have to go back and set the security password. But to set the security password, you have to set the 2FA with Google. And so you'll set your 2FA, and then you'll set the security password, and of course your login password. So these passwords will be different at that point in time.
Okay.
But you can reset your trading password to be the same as your login password.
Yeah, you can set them back to something the same if you want to. That's no big deal. But it's part of the security process is to have that they've got two different passwords. Do I need to show where to find that? Actually, I'm not going to ask that question. I'm just going to show you.
But the best is to have your passwords written down so you don't have the problem where you have to reset it.
I wouldn't write your passwords down. I would use a code in your brain for a pattern for you to be able to remember what the passwords are. I wouldn't write passwords down. And this is your friendly IT guy talking, okay? Because you write it down, you post it on your computer. What good is a password then? You know what I mean? Come on. So I'll give you some examples on how to use coding in your brain. For example, think of two words that you know, okay? And put them together with a number in the middle and end it with a numerical, with a special character like a pound or an exclamation or whatever, okay? And so now you got something that you can remember. Your wife's name, as an example. I don't care. You know, maybe your father's middle name and your mother's middle name. Something that you can remember, because then you remember it. And, you know, put a number in the middle, something that you can remember. And that way you got, well, what password is this? Oh, these are the two passwords for this site. This is my two words that I can remember. I won't forget them. And you simply write your password. Does that make sense? Just trying to give you some ideas, because you don't want to write your passwords down. Please don't. Please don't. But back to the password. So the profile, I would encourage you to get in here. As soon as you create your account, go in and put your withdrawal addresses in here. I know I just changed the subject to slightly. It's just because I'm on that page right here, because it takes 24 hours to the withdrawal page to occur. And so get it in as soon as you can, because then it doesn't matter. By the time you want to withdraw, you can start withdrawing. So on this account page, change password, change security password. Okay. And so if you have to change a password, it emails it to you. You have to go in and you can change it to whatever you want. Again, they actually don't have a restriction. You can change it back to what you thought it was too. That's no big deal. And then the security password is anything to do with money. But to set the security password, you have to set the two-factor authentication. So here, IT guy speaking to you again. Two-factor authentication. I would encourage you. Let's say your wife has a BitHarvest account and you have a BitHarvest account. Your wife has a phone number and you have a phone number. I would encourage you. Put your 2FA on her phone. Put her 2FA on your phone. Okay, so you've got both accounts on both phones. Both accounts on both phones. Why? Because let's say you got your phone in your pocket and you fall over a boat and whoosh, your phone now doesn't work and you can't access your 2FA. Can't get back in very easily. There's a process you have to go through. But if you've got it, easy access on your wife's phone, as an example, and you've got both accounts on there, you can get back in and you can transfer that back onto your new phone once it's been fixed. Okay. So this is, again, your IT friendly guy. I would do that. I would put both accounts on your phone, both accounts on her phone. That way you are protecting yourself to be able to get back into stuff easily without too much of a hassle. Okay.
On the line, can I ask a question, Walter?
Yes, please do.
So when I set up my 2FA on my account with my phone, it's very straightforward. Now, how do I set my 2FA up on my wife's phone for my account? Does it go through the same procedure?
Yeah, it's kind of. There's two things that you can do and I'm going to show this to you. First of all, when you go into here, it gives you an alphanumeric code. Okay. Yeah. So from an IT's perspective, I would encourage you actually to write that code down. Do not take a picture of it. Do not put it online in any way, shape, or form. This code becomes your key because you write it down. You can take that code and plug it into any other device, and now it works because it's your key to get in. Okay. This code, you know, on your Exodus wallet, when I tell you to go get those 12-word phrases and I tell you to write them down, make a copy of them, put one in an envelope and give it to your lawyer so that on the day you die, your inheritor can take that envelope and get back into your stuff. This is the same code that your Exodus wallet needs to be on that piece of paper. Your 2FAs need to be on that piece of paper. You make a copy of it, put one in your fireproof safe, and the other copy, give to your lawyer. Okay? Very important. All right, so to clarify a few things with regards to what should be in the envelope that you give to your lawyer. So you need to have things like your passwords to log on to the websites. You need to have the log on website location. You need to have your 2FA code, the ones that you write down. You need to have the Exodus code, like the 12-word phrase. You need all of those kinds of things to be in the envelope that you give to your lawyer so that your family can inherit this stuff that you're working on. Because if you're making money and they can't access it, there's kind of no point. So you want to be able to have them to gain access to the information that you are doing so they can gain access to it when you die. And you make a copy of it and you keep another copy in your fireproof safe. I did say don't write down your passwords. What I meant was don't write down your passwords and put it on your computer for you. You remember your passwords, put them in your brain. But you do write them down for the people that your loved ones that you want to have them inherit your stuff. Second thing that you can do is you can actually go into your phone, go into 2FA, and you can share a code with another device, and it goes bleep. I'm exporting it and exporting it here, and importing it here. You can go into Google and say, you want to do that. I want to export this code. And you go into this phone. I want to import this code. And it'll show you a QR code and go bleep. And now it's transferred. That's the second way you can do it. Pretty easy. Okay. So yeah, I'd encourage you to do that. If you didn't write the code down, no big deal. Make sure you do get it on your wife's phone because if something happens to your device. But see, this is the nice thing about Google 2FA is now it's connected to your Google account and you can just log onto your Google account, pull down your own 2FA because now it's on the cloud. So it's a little bit easier. But 5 years ago, that wasn't the case. You could only have it on your phone. You can change the email address. Okay. You have to, and the only reason why you'd want to do this is if, let's say you've got an account that you gave to a friend or whatever, for whatever reason, you set up the account for them and you bought the booster for them and you create an account. And if you change and they decide that they don't want to have the account anymore, that's okay. You know, we're not going to force people. And so you can talk to technical support and they can change the email address and you can, if they don't want the account, you can simply change it for them and away you go. But you have to, from the account, you have to communicate with technical support. From the email address that was created, if that account on that email address wants to be changed, that account has to send the email to be able to change it. Someone else can't change an account for you. Let's talk about wallets. Since I've got my screen sharing here. Okay, so I want to show this to you. So like I said, every day I do the same thing. I go in and I convert funds back to USD, buy another shared booster, and then make a little withdrawal, buy a little bit of BTH with the remainder. Okay, so in these wallets, just to kind of explain it to you, to deposit, you've got three networks that you can use. You can use the BSC network, which is the cheapest, only costs 3 cents. The Ethereum network, which costs, I don't know, $10, and the Tron network costs $3, let's say. Okay, you're not sending Tron. You're sending USDT on the TRX network. So USDT TRC20. You're sending USDT ERC20. You're sending USDT BEP20. Just click on the type of coin that you want to do. It'll generate a QR code and you can copy the address and then send it. Okay. So you can use any one of those three networks to send coins. Doesn't matter which one. But make sure it's the USDT version, USDT TRC20, USDT ERC20, USDT BEP20. If you send the wrong coins, our technical support is really helpful, and they will make sure that they send back to you your original deposit because you made a mistake. And that's really great because no one's trying to steal anyone's money. Like, they want you to have a good experience. And so they'll send it back to you, and then you convert it and then send it on if you happen to send the wrong coins. Okay. So just be careful. Some people send the wrong coins, like they accidentally send the Tron coin instead of the USDT. Many people have done that. So make sure that you're sending USDT. Okay. So that's how you deposit. What'll happen is it'll appear here in the USDT wallet. This one right here will appear in the USDT wallet. And so you can withdraw or deposit into USDT wallet anytime you want. Doesn't matter. Okay. Or you can transfer funds up or downstream. Doesn't matter. Costs, it's free. 90% of the purchase price has to go into the conversion wallet, the purchase wallet, and 10% would stay in the USDT wallet. So for an example, let's say we're buying one booster. So that's $900 needs to go into the purchase wallet. And so you'd move only $900, and that would leave $100 in the USDT wallet. Okay. So this is the math works like this. So 90% has to be in the purchase wallet and or the commission wallet and or the registry wallet. Okay, so the reason why I do the math this way is because I want to use up as much as I possibly can from the registry wallet, because the registry wallet is where you can only buy a booster or transfer to a friend. So write down this is how the math works. Let's say you're buying a shared booster. So that's $90 because it's 90%. So 90 minus the contents of the registry wallet minus the contents of the commission wallet then tells you what needs to be in the purchase wallet. That's the math. And so if I only have $26, then I simply move the rest into the purchase wallet. I'll send you guys a little video on how to do that if you want. But that's the math. This container will go away in the future. Like, this is the most important container here would be the Bitcoin container. And every morning I'm super happy to wake up. Yeah, I'm getting paid about $50 a day including the mining of my machine and all of the boosters on my team. Okay. And this is really cool. Okay. This is not like any other business I've ever seen, because you do not have to have production every day. You do not have to go out and buy more stuff. You do not have to prospect friends. You don't have to do any of that stuff. Somebody who wants to buy a booster, great, go for it. And they buy one, and that booster now generates some income for me as well. And it will for you as too. And it just grows. And so once a booster activates, it's there. It just stays activated, and it's awesome. Okay. And so that's really, really cool. Okay. What else? So this is the BTH container. So this BTH, let's say if I wanted to buy or sell more BTH, I would just simply go into BTH and I can buy it or sell it, of course, and away we go. Under the booster tab, what'll happen is on day one, you buy a booster. On day two, in our case, because we're on mountain time, sometime before we go to bed, this will display as one disabled. And then tomorrow after lunch, it would appear as one active. And then on day three, you'll have Bitcoin in your wallet. Okay. Here is the invoice you get. So you get your each has its own separate code. And this file here, you have to download this file yourself so that you can take that invoice to your tax consultant and be able to get a write-off. And it also, the invoice itself shows the INEI, shows the date and the contract that you have. Okay. So let's just go here and I will open it up. Okay. So this is what the invoice looks like. I would encourage you guys to read the contents of it. Has the date, has, you know, the paraphernalia, all the particulars about it. Custodian means it's being housed at the parent office. Okay. And, you know, shows the date that I purchased it. And this is the IMEA number right there, and the the type of booster that it is and the cost. Okay. And right down here on the second page is the 5-year warranty right there. Okay. And so, yeah, I'd encourage you to talk to your consultant because, like I said, if you're in Canada, you can get a second, you can use it as a write-off. So you're now earning income twice for the same item. And that's really, really cool. Any other questions?
Hopefully you can walk me through a couple of things. I think I'm going to bring on Nick too, because he had some questions about compounding and buying shares.
I created a 30-second little video on how to compound. I'll send it to you because it's on my YouTube channel, and that way you
would you send that to me, please?
I will. I'll send it to you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Because I do it every day. Just like Mervyn taught. It's like it's important to compound. I agree with them.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Sigmar, tell me how you like BitHarvest.
Oh, I love BitHarvest. Yeah, it's doing well. So it's nice to see those 10 to 12% coming in every month, and to see it grow.
Yeah,
very good.
That's awesome. Hey, Majid, since you were on the calls a second ago, tell me how do you like BitHarvest?
Me?
Yeah, good. Tell me your experience, man.
I came from mining Bitcoin over at in Iceland with a big group, and I was very familiar. And then once one of the guys over there introduced me to the program, I go, I love this program much better than just mining Bitcoin. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's way easier than actually mining Bitcoin.
It's absolutely much better, easier. It looks like it's about the same as the main server. Gives you about the same amount of Bitcoin. I like that part of it.
Yeah, one machine, $10,000. One $10,000 machine will generate you about $5 a day. Whereas $1,000 machine will generate you $1,000 booster will generate you about $3 a day. But the machine, a mining machine, yes, it's a process, but they work hand in hand. You can't have one without the other.
And then you have to pay electricity and a whole bunch of moving parts.
Yeah.
You have to pay rent for the, where you place the computers and all that. It's not worth it. Our booster is going to do much better.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. All right. Any other questions, comments, jokes?
Have you seen the time chain calendar? It's a app that you can it really goes through explaining blockchain, and it has a beautiful desktop display that has a lot of information. I can send you a link if you're interested, if you want to look at it.
Yeah, I would like to see that.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, so this is the this is the website here, time chain calendar. And so they go through, there's one website, it's actually about a year old, but it's telling you, the block height, it's telling you how many, all of this stuff. I'm not any expert at this, but this here, the little green circle here is telling you how many minutes have gone past before that next block is going to be passed along the chain.
Yeah.
There's you can go on here and look back at a past block that this one was done. Where's the date that it has here someplace? That particular date. I'm not, like I say, I just found this the other day, so I'm still still not looking able to see where it is. But let's return to today's one. You can slide the calendar back so you can go back to look at block 0. When did that happen? And what up here is the exchange value. So you can go ahead, let's say to whatever. And here it was worth only $14 US dollars. When was that? Where's the date there? It tells you right here, January 13th, 2013. Okay. And that was the block height. Anyway, there's all kinds of information on here, and there's a website I could send you that actually the guy goes through describing each one of these these stats, what they refer to. And I found it very interesting. Very interesting. And there's
What is the website that you go to?
for
The
the
YouTube video.
the YouTube video for telling you how what everything is. I don't know it off by hand. Let's see if I.
No, to actually get the time chain calendar, you would just Google time chain calendar to get this website?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, like from the YouTube that I actually my son found it for me. And you know, underneath the YouTubes, they always have notes or the some other links or whatever.
Okay.
From under there. If I send you the actual link, let's see if how can I do that, Kev?
I don't know how to do it over Zoom.
Um,
Could send it over Telegram. Probably.
Sure.
if I copy this, and can I put it into chat?
Yeah, you can put it in the chat.
Where's my chat? Oh,
I'll send a message quick and you'll be able to see it come up.
okay, chat. Okay.
You'll see it on your screen. There's on the bar there. You'll see a chat. There you go.
There it is. Isn't that?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you click on that, that should be the YouTube that the guy that describes everything, and he'll
I'll have a link underneath the video.
he'll have a link underneath for the actual website that you can go to have it on your computer.
Nice.
So it's I found there's in addition to the information that is on this screen in their desktop display. How come I'm not live here? Okay, so it gives you this when a new block is created, it kind of creates kind of a did you see that? Kind of a display. But anyway, tells you when the halving replays are, there's a gallery, there's up here, the info. There's a terminology for what's, you know, if you want to know what epoch means, what exchange rate means, what fees halving, you know, so you can look at that and go to resources. And in here that gives you some interesting other places that you might want to go to. If you could look at, for example, this time chain stats. Let's see if we can just open that up here for a sec here. If I expand that. So this here website has got all kinds of information here too. So you can look at, you know, different, this is the Ant Pool, this is Mara Pool, this is Ant Pool, Foundry USA.
So all different mining companies.
Different mining companies. You can go down and it'll show you your bit block time versus size. There's, you know, you can see Bitcoin versus fiat, you know, kind of stats. What is a fiat worth? What Bitcoin breakdown? You know, There's so much information here. It's just unbelievable. I'm really spent when Kevin said it to me last night. I stayed up till 1:30 in the morning looking at this stuff. I couldn't put it away. So yeah, it's just very interesting, but it's another way of looking at everything. So I thought it might be of interest to you guys. Those links to other websites too. The other websites have got some very interesting information that is displayed there too, and it's interesting that time chain calendar, you can go back in history and look at a specific block. You can search for different blocks, or you can go towards the future, and it'll predict what the block will be at and so forth.
Sounds like it's a good time to end the call. Appreciate you all coming. Go talk to the individual that gave you this video. They care about you. They want you to have a good experience, just like they're having a good experience. Go talk to them. Go create your ID and get your account going. I would encourage you also to buy a booster. Look at your situation and determine what you can do and take action. If you don't take action, you're actually really losing money every day, because the power of the money that you're in, the currency that you have, is going down. And so every day you are losing the ability to buy stuff. Okay? You're losing the ability to pay for stuff. Go take action. Because if you take action, you now have a way to make money. You now have a way to circumvent the lowering price of the dollar, and you now have an ability to make money. You now have an ability to get out of the rat race. Your friend cares about you. That's why he gave you this video. Go talk to him. Have a good experience. Just like the rest of us. Make some withdrawals and have a good experience. Have a great day. Talk to you in a bit.